What is going on YouTube? Chrono here, and welcome back to another Tower Fantasy video. So in today's video, I'm actually going to be going over gearing in Tower Fantasy. Now, quick disclaimer, I personally don't feel like I'm the most qualified to do this video overall. However, I have seen a lot of these videos go up on YouTube, and I don't really, I can't say I don't agree, but I feel like the way they've been done, I wasn't super happy with personally. So when you aren't happy with something, I'm very much a believer in you should take care of it yourself. So I want to go and talk with you guys about gearing in ToF and just kind of the idea of what you're trying to do as far as making your character stronger. Not super complicated, which is kind of nice when it comes to ToF. It's actually fairly straightforward, and getting geared up is just a process of RNG overall. So I guess I can take care of, like, I don't call it the elephant in the room, but just like the quick disclaimer when it comes to weapons. Yes, increasing your weapons level does help increase the damage of your weapons. However, in most cases at this level, the amount that it's taken for investment in upgrading these weapons in most situations does not really equal the amount of damage you're gaining. What I mean by that is getting your weapon up to plus 140 versus your weapon being at plus 130 is not a huge difference, because what's changing is the flat value, not the actual multiplier. The multiplier remains the same, so even if I were to have this weapon at level 1, I would have the exact same multipliers. My flat values would just be lower. While yes, it is important to upgrade your weapons if you want to do the absolute most amount of damage you possibly can do, in most cases it's not going to be a make or break for you if your weapon is not maxed value. As far as priority, upgrade your main DPS weapon first. I guess in this set actually would be Meryl, not Frigg. But upgrade your main DPS weapon first, then upgrade your support weapon. That way, if you do need to go ahead and switch to it and use it, it's not like really that much of a hurt, or that much hurting you. And then your shadow weapon would be last. In the ice comp, people look at Meryl's weapon as the shadow weapon. That's not exactly the case, but that's a conversation for another day. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about equipment. What should you be doing? What are you looking for? How can you make sure that you get the most amount of damage out of your equipment? So equipment is pretty straightforward and pretty simple, actually. Gloves are the end all be all. They are broken. They are insanely powerful. You want good gloves. So your gloves have a base stat of attack and crit, but what you're looking at is random stats. Random stats can roll between a couple of things. For gloves, you can roll attack, elemental attack, or crit. You can also roll other values. You just don't care about those other values. Other values being like HP, resistance, and elemental resistance. You're not really focused on any of those. You're focused primarily, in at least on gloves, on crit, attack, and elemental attack. Now, if I was a flame main, these gloves would be about almost perfect. They are close to being a perfect pair of gloves if I was a main on flame. And let me explain. Wow, that all rhymed. It wasn't intentional, and I'm leaving it in the video. So with your gloves, you're looking for crit. Crit is pretty much one of your best stats. It's what you're going for the most out of anything. So you want to go ahead and get crit. When you're upgrading weapons, you get a random roll into one of these stats. You want them all realistically to go into crit. In my specific situation, I got 4 in a crit and unfortunately 1 in an HP. Hopefully you guys can't hear the truck backing up in the background, but if you can, apologies in advance. Well, I guess it's not in advance, but apologies all the same. But realistically, what we're looking for is all of our rolls into crit. We got 4 rolls in a crit and 1 in HP. Like I said, so close to being perfect gloves if I was a flame main. Now, as you can see, I also got attack and I got elemental attack. If this was ice attack, I'd be super happy about these gloves, but they're not ice attack, they're flame attack. But of course the crit is absolutely insane, so we're going to take them regardless. Attack equals elemental attack. I'll say it again. Attack equals elemental attack. So the more attack you just get attack in all of your elemental stats that equals to your elemental attack. You're probably thinking to yourself, then why don't you just want attack, right? If you're getting all stats, you can just have one set of gear for everything. Well, that's where things change a little bit. Elemental attack value or rolls that you get on your gear are innately higher than attack rolls. Attack is pretty much kind of like your consolation prize when you're looking at things, and elemental attack is kind of your goal. So when you're looking at your gloves, your primary goal here is to get as much crit as possible, and then anything else you can get with it is a consolation, not a focus. Meaning that if I were to get a pair of gloves that had perfect 5 crit rolls into them, now those rolls do vary because they can roll ranges. I think if I remember correctly, I believe Gate's gonna be doing a video that's gonna cover that, or Gateoo's doing a video that's gonna cover that. And if I remember, and his video comes up at any point in time in the near future, I'll leave a link or a pinned comment to that. I believe he's going to talk about the actual rolls you can get in those pieces of gear. If we were to get a set or a pair of gloves that had 5 crit rolls into them, I would swap it out with these immediately. No matter if they had anything else here, I wouldn't care, because crit is our primary value. Then afterwards, if we had to get another pair of gloves that were 5 crit rolls and then had attack values in them, then we'd be looking at upgrades. That only if, of course, had equal amount of crit or more. Everything I just said about gloves applies to boots as well. Basically the exact same process. This is what you're looking for overall, but you want your rolls to be all in crit. As you can see, I got 1 roll in crit. I got, I believe, 2 rolls in HP, a roll in attack, and a roll in frost attack. Does that add up? Yeah. 1 in everything and an extra roll in HP. Not great, but not the worst in the world. If I happen to get something with more crit, I will definitely be taking the more crit boots overall. But as you can see, I have not gotten very lucky with my boot rolls. I may roll these boots, we'll have to see. If I happen to get more crit in these, then I will take them, but I have not gotten super lucky in my boot rolls. So crit, and then elemental attack, and then attack is what you're looking for. Of course, elemental attack being higher because its value is overall higher, though as far as their values themselves, if you get something that has just as much elemental attack as it has attack, it is equal to each other. It's just elemental attack can roll higher. That's only the case for gloves and boots. We're looking at every other piece of gear, drop crit from the formula. All you can get is elemental attack and attack. So your goal is to get elemental attack as much as possible, with attack as a consolation prize. Ideally, an ideal piece of gear would have elemental attack of the chosen element at a max 5 rolls, and then just also have an attack roll on it. But getting attack rolls between the two of them, because this is RNG based, at least getting attack rolls between the two of them would be nice. I personally would recommend going with a baseline of having at least elemental attack and attack on a piece of gear before you roll it, because it gives you a 50% chance to roll into something that's actually useful. You can, of course, if you're trying to get all of your gear +5, to get as much CS as possible, which, I mean, I was going to make a video talking about this, but I guess I could just mention it in this video itself. Stop chasing CS. When you're gearing properly, you will get CS. Do not chase CS, for the love of God. Getting things like your suppressor upgraded, while important and can be very useful, is not your end-all be-all for a lot of things. If you're properly gearing, you will get your CS up, but you can cheese CS without chasing CS. Those two things are not the same. So when you're looking at gear, like I said, you're looking for elemental attack and attack rolls. I rolled this piece of gear because it had both, and as you can see, I did not get lucky. I got 0 rolls in elemental. I think I got 2 rolls in attack, and then everything else went into like resistance. So not super good there. And that's basically the same thing for every other piece of gear. You're looking for elemental plus attack to give you the best chance of rolling into something good. You roll and upgrade your gear and see what you get. As you can see, I have not been super lucky with some pieces. My bracers, I think I was trying to get bracers for a while now. I have not gotten elemental attack bracers. Yeah, you can see sometimes you're just unlucky, man. Sometimes you are just unlucky. You don't get what you're looking for, and it kind of sucks. But that doesn't mean these pieces of gear are useless. That just means that this is experience fodder. When I do get a good piece of gear and I can upgrade it and see what it ends up at. So you can see tons of equipment here. I guess I'll answer a couple of other questions. Is it ever worth to keep purple gear over gold gear? No. When you get to gold gear, you're using gold gear. Swap out all your purple gear and then start using gold gear and upgrading it to the best of your ability. At that point, everything else is just experience for your gold gear. And that's it. That's kind of the entire process. You're looking for gear that you can get that's going to upgrade better. As you can see, my helmet also is trash, and I've not gotten a good helmet since. Let's see, does this have more attack? Then yeah. So this is a situation where you look at these two, right? And this is actually a good comparison. We have attack and we have frost attack. Frost attack, I only rolled into once, and it rolled very poorly. Where attack, I think I rolled into twice. Both of them were pretty terrible rolls. Let me look at this really quick. Yeah, this looks like 2. This looks like 2 into here, 1 into here, and then like 2 really bad rolls there. So it looked like I rolled twice into flame attack, twice into attack, and once into... No, actually, that looks like... Is that twice in HP? Maybe that's twice in HP. I remember exactly because the rolls can kind of vary a bit, but realistically, you're looking at the attack roll, right? So this is a good piece of gear I can do a comparison with. I've got 21 or 217 frost attack, but 295 attack. Because I have more attack than I have this frost attack, this piece actually has more value for what I'm trying to go for. This is going to give me more frost attack overall because attack does equal frost attack. I happen to get more rolls here. Even though I wanted frost attack, I still rolled more attack here, so I'm using this piece of gear instead. And as you can see, with more attack rolls in this piece of gear, I end up with more CS, even though they're the same level. So like I mentioned, if you're rolling your gear properly, you are going to get CS. You don't have to chase it. You can cheese it, but you don't need to chase it. You probably also have noticed that my gear upgrades are kind of weird. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video that I'm going to record actually right after this one, showing how you can do this and reshuffle your gear around via a really cool Reddit post that explained this entire process. So I will show you guys how that works in the next follow-up video, but that is all I have for you guys today. If you have any other questions, feel free to toss in the comments below. Like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to keep up with more. I'll catch you guys next time. Take care. Peace out.